Fox will today blast Jeremy Corbyn's bid to keep the UK in an EU customs union after Brexit as a sellout of Britain's national interests. The International Trade Secretary will warn keeping the country tied to Brussels will leave Britain having to swallow EU rules without having a say in drawing them up. He will call instead for the country to make a clean break from the bloc and embrace the opportunities of the future. Dr. Fox will today make a major speech on the UK's looming departure, the latest in a series of keynote addresses on Brexit by cabinet ministers. His scathing attack on staying in a customs union with the EU comes just a day after the Labour leader performed a dramatic shift in policy to back staying in one. Critics of Labour accuse the party of betraying its Brexit-backing voters in the party heartlands by changing their policy. And today, Dr. Fox will warn that if the UK stayed in customs union, which would stop the UK from being able to sign free trade deals around the world, it would harm the UK's ability to boost its trade in the years to come. He will tell an audience at Bloomberg in London today, as rule takers without any say in how the rules were made, we would be in a worse position than we are today. It would be a complete sellout of Britain's national interests, and he will warn that staying in a customs union would leave the UK having to take EU rules but without having a say in them. He will say, first of all, for goods, we would have to accept EU trade rules without any say in how they were made, handing Brussels considerable control of the UK's external trade policy. Secondly, it would limit our ability to reach new trade agreements with the world's fastest-growing economies. And thirdly, it would limit our ability to develop our trade and development policies that would offer new ways for the world's poorest nations to trade their way out of poverty. As rule takers, without any say in how the rules were made, we would be in a worse position than we are today. It would be a complete sellout of Britain's national interests. A customs union would remove the bulk of incentives for other countries to enter into comprehensive free trade agreements with the UK if we were unable to alter the rules in whole sectors of our economy. As Turkey has now discovered, the inevitable price of trying to negotiate with one arm tied behind our back is that we would become less attractive to potential trade partners and forfeit many of the opportunities that would otherwise be available to us. The cabinet minister will point out that the economies of China and other Eastern countries are growing, creating new opportunities for trade. Dr. Fox will say, we cannot allow the practices and patterns of the past to constrain the opportunities of the future. The pattern of our trade is changing. 57% of Britain's exports of goods and services are now to outside the EU compared with only 44% in 2005. What is more, while our EU exports are still dominated by goods, our non-EU exports are evenly split between goods and services. Our approach should not be premised on simply identifying how much of our current relationship we want to keep, but what we need to prosper in a rapidly changing global environment. He said Britain needs to radically change its trading policy to take advantage of the new opportunities globally. He will say there is a tendency among some nations to cling to the known trading mechanisms more suited to the structures of the past than the digital age of the future. Flexibility and agility, then, are the key to any future trade policy. The ability to react quickly to new developments, to explore new opportunities and to nurture fledgling industries that will be the key to growth and prosperity in the coming years. He will add, to do this, we need the ability to exercise a fully independent trade policy. We have to maximize overall trading opportunities for the UK and secure the prosperity of our people.
Tell me where the freak's at.